very good evening to one and all. Myself, I am Rajiv Bhuttacharya, Assistant Professor, Department Psychology for College. So we are going to introduce the webinar session on Know Your Moths to be a citizen scientist. So respected our principal, sir, Dr. Tikshakya, Principal of Technical College, and today's research person, Subhasis Arandhara, and
Hello,
and our
good
all
evening.
our uh, participants in this webinar. So today we are actually organizing a simple and very introductory to moths because it is actually less explored species, and we think that the organizations of different fields they have promoted the national moth across the globe, and we are fortunate that we are holding this is the fourth one of the natural is moth week. That is going to start right from tomorrow onwards, from 22nd to 30th of July. So in the evening time, when when it's become dark, so we find that lots of moths they come across in our verandas outside where there's light. So we need to document that. It is a kind of a system of uh, making a species count, and as well as also the same species, if we are getting more and more, so we have to see the abundance also so that we know the status of a particular moth, and then we record it. That is very easy now because we have the mobile phones. So today's the mobile phone, we just can take the photographs and then we can upload it. There are certain portals that we are also going to discuss about it, and also, we'll have an interaction section after this presentation is over by Subhaji Sandhara. So before that, I would like to ask our principal, Dr. Dipsekya, to say a few words on this event and also inaugurate this session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, Rajiv, do you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes.
So, good evening, everyone. Uh,
Good evening, sir.
Raju Tariang and
Good evening.
speaker Subhasis Arandhara and uh, all the participants who joining this beautiful webinar. So, it is a good moment for everyone to interact and join the webinar and know a little bit about the Moth. Yes, Deep College is organizing last 3 years in this month, National Month Week, and this is our opportunity that our especially geology department is have been engaged in this venture. Today's speaker Subhasis Andhra is a alumnus of our college, and when he was a student of this college, he wrote a book on moth, and we also feel proud of him. And he had done a lot of works in regarding moth when he was a student, and he did good research and wrote a book along with Rajiv Dotarian. And in this platform, I again appreciate both of them. Yes, this is the opportunity for everyone because during this month, the motor that are active in every localities at in the night, and they can photograph it, and after that they can upload in social media, especially in inaturalist.org or Indian Biodiversity Portal, and from and that way people will know the unknown moth and they will recognize it. And in a few words, I welcome everyone and declare the session have been inaugurated. Thank you, Tradiang.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
so it is that fortunate that we have our principal, sir, because of his busy schedule. He just arrived back from college duty, and still he has time to join and encourage us inaugural speech. So I'm thankful to our sir. And before we start up, so I want to just say something about the citizen science. This citizen science actually it is nothing, but it is actually a way to document any species, whether it's a flower or a tree or some fruits or maybe some kind of natural things uh, and living things, natural living things, could be a plant or an animal or small insects like an ant or whatever we find. So that those species are very important. And well, if we just see that it is citizen science is that it actually it is the persons of all age, all different ages, and of all different discipline. It is not that only the geologists or the botanists will be working on this particular field. It's not. It is to common man. It is to all common man who can take photographs, who can document it, and then they can upload it. And you see, the world has so many of diverse things. We don't know. When we take a photograph of an ant, we don't know. Even a geologist also find it difficult to identify until unless he do a rigorous taxonomy work. But for the general people, we should always try to encourage them to take photographs whatever they can, and even though they do not know it, just upload it in the iNaturalist.org or in the biodiversity portal. So in that particular portal, so whatever photographs everyone who have uploaded, that photographs, then it has a copyright on the owner itself. If anyone is getting a photo, taking a photograph, so that photographs actually belong to that particular person and it has a copyright. Immediately when you upload there, it becomes a what? Copyright. So nobody is going to steal that photograph. And if somebody steals the photographs and use it in their name, then if identified, then that will be under the Copyright Act. So ultimately, their laws are there. So nothing to worry about it. Just upload it, the unknown thing. And after uploading, there are certain tricks system where we can also get it identified immediately to the nearest family, to the nearest genus, or to the nearest species, or immediately, or we have to wait for another week or 1 day or 2 day. Then the experts will be there who will be commenting it on it, and they will be giving us the accurate taxonomy key for identification. So this is how the unknown thing can be known to us. So ultimately, the entire world, we have so many datas, and that if the those data have been uploaded in this particular portals, so there will could be a kind of a research work. There could be some kind of a knowledge sharing, and most of the people generally this citizen science it started with a bird counting. It initiated actually with part of in the year 1900, where certain experts, certain ornithologists have encouraged certain villagers to go and just take the pictures, not the pictures, but do some drawing sketches by some unknown persons. And they try to give some informations that these are the birds that are found in the particular area. Ultimately, those villagers have become the first citizen scientists. So this is how a common man become a citizen scientist. So this is a platform where one can become an expert. And there are also experts whose base is from space science, but they have worked so in depth that they have been recognized by the Zoological Society, by the other society, that they are very active. That means that a person from space science, a person from arts, a person from medical sciences, a person from engineering, a person from commerce background can also become an expert. So it is not that the zoologists will be the only the expert. So this is the main idea, that to promote whatever we get, so we get a very good opportunity. So this is the month of July 22nd to 30th, that is from tomorrow onwards. Every evening, one can take photographs of those species of moths, take photograph in a mobile phone, then upload it in the iNaturalist that we will be guiding after the session is over. So this is how it will promote and will also make us happy, everyone, that when you take the photographs of those beautiful insects, when you see it in your laptop, when you see it in your own mobile phone, you share it with your friends, a little bit of knowledge also shares, and you also make happy that we have photographed a very small insect also, and it came out very beautiful. So it also makes our minds very happy also. So anyway, we don't want to make much time on it because we need to confine to the presentation of Subhasis Anandara. So Subhasis Anandara was my student. He was a PhD student in our college, and he have done his graduation in botany department for major student, but he also worked on moths. He also worked on the orchids. He also worked on other different fern varieties of plants, and so many. He had cups of so many things in his during his PhD onwards. So he was also a resource person when he was in the third semester. So he acted as a resource person, and he was trying to demonstrate about the moth, introductory to the moth to the fifth semester students. So this is how we have tried to encourage the students to uh, come across. And ultimately, he became a moth expert during his time, and he have identified more than 600 species of moths at the College alone. So this is how, and then he have completed his masters from ABC College in Chennai. He worked on the black bug at Point Caliber. Now he is associated with the Deer Rescue Center at Pake Wildlife Sanctuary at Arunachal Pradesh. So now I would like to invite Subhash Nandara to take the moment to this webinar, and it's now over to Subhash Nandara.
Hello,
Yes, you're audible.
শুনা পাইছে ন?
Yes, শুনি পাইছো.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Myself, Subhash, is an ecologist or biologist working in Pake Tiger Reserve from Arunachal Pradesh. I'm a field officer in this division. So today it is very opportunate for me to speak about moths in this Moth week. So the Moth week starts from today. I mean tonight. So till 7 days, this Moth will be
Your voice is
conducted in different places of the world. So it is the right time to know about moths. So that's why we have entitled our presentation. Hello.
yes, you're audible.
Hello.
You're audible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, yes. So, so to begin the presentation, I want to always thank my wildlife guru, Mr. Rajiv Rudra Taryang sir. He has shown me many paths by which I can see wildlife, observe them, and hopefully to do some ecological or studies on inventories. I started my watching Moth journey from Digbo College onwards, and Rajiv sir was the person who showed me the path to see moths and observe them. So let me start the presentation. So can you all see the slides keeping?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, okay. So, to understand moths and butterflies, we need to know the order Lepidoptera. So, more precisely, we can point our interest on Lepidoptera as two groups and subgroups under this category. So at first, we have the butterflies. Butterflies, we all know. We can identify them by their vivid colors and their clubbed antenna. We will know this later on. So, butterflies are a small group that includes the most well-known and thoroughly investigated insects. Okay, there are approximately 20,000 described species or more than that. They belong to different superfamilies. Superfamilies means the hierarchy or the classification points that are like they are classified. First is Hesperoideae, Papilionidae, and a more recent addition Helidoidae. So these three super families comes under the butterflies. So all butterflies will be classified in these groups. So after butterflies, we have moths in the order Lepidoptera. So moths are they have a lot of numbers. So we have a lot of moths. So at first we can subclassify them as macromoths. These are larger and more noticeable moths, which include almost all of the ones that hobbyists usually try to catch. Usually, when we start watching moths, we focus on the macromoths. Those are the larger and more beautiful ones. Although the majority of these moths belong to the more evolved order, and the older moths are classified into micromoths or microlepidoptera. They are relatively primitive, and we overlook them because of their small size. So these are the different broad classifications of moths and butterflies under the order Lepidoptera. So why do we study Lepidoptera? We study Lepidoptera because it is a key to learn about the natural world, their fascinating life history. Then, as a model organizing to investigate many areas of biological research. Also, they provide us better understanding of silk production, pests, thus adds to our comfort, economy, and controlling measures. Lot of moths we can see are pests to our crops and some other necessary things like clothes and all. They become pests, and so we need to control them. In order to control them, we need to know about their biology. How do they live? Their life history. What do they eat? Why do they destroy our crops? To understand this, we need to study them. Then butterfly watching events and eco tours bring revenue to our countries or our states. That's why we nowadays many butterfly or moth watching events are conducted, and many tourists from country as well as outside the country, foreign countries, come to visit different types of tiger reserves, national parks, etc. And also the most important thing, that moth numbers or butterfly numbers are decreasing uh, accordingly because of habitat destruction. So since they are declining, we need to know their causes so that we can conserve them and make their population stable. So next slide speaks about how many lepidopterans, kiman lepidoptera ase. So report on mate, according to different reports, we have this much species globally, 1,27,000 species. This is report and an estimate, and 12,000 species are reported from India, and more than 400 species are reported from Assam. So from citizen science data, citizen science, as Rajiv Taryang sir has told, that citizen science is an important component of observing wildlife or other natural history and uploading into a database so that it becomes accessible to everyone. So we have around 1,000 species from Lower Assam and more than 700 species from Upper Assam. So these are the numbers which are nowadays increasing because a lot of people have contributed to the citizen science. People have taken photographs, their locations, and uploading them to the internet. So next, how many in Upper Assam? So from published literature, we have published around 333 macromoths and 60 micromoths from Upper Assam, basically from Digboi area. So from citizen science, we have uploaded around 644 species. We have uploaded this many species. You all can find in iNaturalist. So next slide comes about basic features of Lepidoptera or insect, or you can say moths. So at first, when we say jetia ami insect boli kau, we can see the insect part can be divided into three different sections or parts. First is head, thorax, abdomen. Everyone knows that, and beyond that, when we see the individual or when we see the insect, we can see the head that contains the eyes, antenna and mouth parts. Um, there are three segments on the thorax. The first segment contains the front leg. The second segment contains the four wings and the second pair of legs. And the third segment contains the hind wings and the third pair of legs. The third pair of the body is the abdomen, which has the sexual and the digestive functions. Let's talk about the sense organs. We can see the compound eyes, the labial palps, proboscis. These components are there. They are the sense organs. We have the compound eye, which provides vision. The antenna can be spotted between the eyes. You can see that. Butterflies, when we see, in contrast to moths, have antennae that are more consistently shaped. Many moths here with ears, moths have ears that are called tympanal organs that may be present at the rear or the thorax at the base of the abdomen. So moths includes one more feature, that is they have the capability to hear ultrasonic waves or ultrasonic sounds. Moths usually capture or pick up the calls of bat during hunting so that they can avoid the predators. As soon as the moth detects the predator or bat, what they do, they take flight in opposite direction so that they can be saved. So also what you can say, in different moths like irribid moths that are called also the olet moths, they are capable of producing their own ultrasonic calls by rapidly flexing a structure in their body under the thorax. So we can say it is like talking to the bat or talking to the predator that I am not there, something like that. Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
Continue.
yes.
Continue.
Okay. So now let's see how the moths or butterflies feed. Some of the features are always common because they belong to the same order Lepidoptera. So feeding, since adult moths or butterflies can only digest liquids, they are fluid feeding insects. Since they only digest liquids, the nectar of the flower or some other butterflies or moths can uh, feed on decaying carrion. So the nectar of the flower is the primary source of nutrition, and sometimes also on fermented sap from the plants. So they are vegetarians or they eat vegetable matter. So one more thing is that moths and butterflies lack jaws. They have been replaced by tongues, or we can say proboscis, which are the tongue. So they consume the liquid food or the nectars from this proboscis. So this proboscis is always coiled inside their mouth part, which is released when they find a flower and put inside the flower to sip out the nectar. So these are the basic features. Some more features are there, like frenulum, which is given in point number 3. This frenulum is a characteristic or is a device that connects two wings so that it can flap together. It helps in flight. And some more things are there. We will discuss later on in the slides. The first point is the scale wing. So moths and butterflies, the Lepidoptera, are those insects that have scales in them. This is the first distinguishing feature of the order Lepidoptera, moth as well as butterflies. So these are the different moth antenna types. We have named them differently. So these antennas can help us in identifying the different families, genus, or the species. So let's come towards the life cycle. So life cycle is a interesting component in the life history. So watching the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means transformation of different life stages of moths and butterflies. This is very interesting and exciting experience. The life cycle consists of 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. We can see different stages of larva we can see. So let me tell about how the moths or butterflies lay eggs. Some species may lay one egg at a time or sometimes in clusters. Some on the ground or near the host plane. So more advanced butterflies or moths, they lay egg near the host plane so that their survival is very success. So this is a life cycle of one hawk moth, that is Alocasia hawk moth. This is my first life cycle, that's why I keep the photograph. I have done with Rajiv Taryang sir, this one back in 2012. So let me tell something more about the life cycle. So eggs, coming to the eggs may take few days or several weeks to develop, and then the larva hatches. And the larva's first meal is often the eggshell. So next stage, the caterpillar begins eating the host plant. Some caterpillars switch host when leaves become too difficult to digest. So feeding on multiple different plants is also one of the characteristics of the moths or butterflies. So when we see the larva, we can see an exoskeleton which is very flexible. It can crawl like leech and stretch also. So caterpillars, when they grow, they must shed the exoskeleton. The process of shedding this skin is called molting. So we can see the different stages. In order to this, we have the insect or the larva has to molt, which is called ecdysis in scientific terms. So these different stages are also called as instar, and the caterpillar's growth rate also increases as the molt gets transferred or the instar gets changed. The last time the caterpillar sheds, it becomes the pupa. We can see the point number 7. Can you all see these numbers?
Yes.
So the 7 number which you can see is the last instar. After that, the one more thing, for all butters, the pupa which you can see is also known as chrysalis. These are attached to the shelter surface or leaves or somewhere. And moths,
Versus your voice is
have some moths have some what we can call the this pupa, which is also called as cocoons or silken. Hello.
just carry on. Sometimes your voice is also not clear.
Okay. As from the pupa, uh, just from pupa comes out, they spread the
Your voice is breaking, Subhasis.
housing is called any period. Individual of moth or butterfly are ready to fly. So duration. Okay, just a moment. Hello.
Now you're audible.
Okay, so these are different eggs of moths. You can see the first image. It shows one hawk moth. It is some green color. Then different types of moth eggs have different shapes and patterns. So one moth we can
Madhuri,
see
screen
lot of
is
hair.
not.
Your voice, your
Hello.
slide is missing now.
Yeah, slide is missing. Yes, yes.
Wait.
Shall I share it from my side?
No. Let me try. Okay, can you see my slide now?
No. I'll share it.
Hello.
I'll share it.
Okay.
Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir.
So Subhasis, you are explaining about this
Yeah.
slide? Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see the slide. So, okay, I'll tell next, then you can skip the
Yeah.
slide. So these are the different structures in moth egg we can see. So one moth egg, there are a lot of hairs. So these different kinds of hairs allow the moth eggs to be protected from predators. So these eggs can be seen as caterpillars, and predators may avoid eating that. Next. So these are the different larval stages. We can see the larvae have different names. So the first one, we can see a horn. Uh, we can see a horn. Then spiracles. These spiracles allow a larva. Okay. These spiracles allow the larva to breathe or respirate. Then there are eyes. The false eyes also is there. Then we have different types of legs. First is the true legs, then prolegs, then claspers. The claspers allow the larva to hold the surface. Prolegs and true legs allow the larva to move about. So feeding on the host. When the larva feeds, this feeding can be internal or external. Some moths go inside the tree barks and feed, and sometimes most of the moths eat leaf parts. Then larvae disperse. When the eggs are laid, the larvae are dispersed from the egg masses. They deviate in different directions so that they can consume more food, and the food consumption or competition is less. And in order to defend themselves from predators, they have physical spines and bristles. You can see the moth in the right below the Cetora species is written there, red color. So uh, this larva is called Samselequa in Assamese. So it is very stinging. So this is also called stinging nettle. So this kind of protective feature a larva exhibit. Next.
Okay, with my mouse. The annotation is not.
You can close the annotation.
The question is not stopping. Now it's stopping. Yeah.
You can stop sharing and restart. Okay.
I think you can see, no?
So coming, yes, yes.
Habits and habitat.
Okay, habits and habitat. When we talk about habits and habitat, we can link their life history attributes such as activity. So first, when we speak about activity, the moth activity can be diurnal, crepuscular, and nocturnal. Diurnal means they fly during the daytime. There are many moths that fly during the day, and some moths like the hummingbird hawk moths roam about, feed or traverse their feeding activities during the dusk or dawn time. We can see some very fast flying moths near our flower gardens moving like bees. They can be considered as, or they are the hummingbird hawk moths. These are the hawk moth groups. Then there are many nocturnal moths that feed the night flowering plants. Then coming to the feeding, there are fluid feeding. Most moths and butterflies are fluid feeding. Then pollen eating, primitive mandibulate moths, means very old primitive moths that have mandibles instead of what is it called proboscis. These eat pollens, and some do not feed at all. The adult silk moths we can see, no, the Assamese silk moths, these kind of moths do not feed during their adult stage. Whatever food was needed, they feed during the larva stage only. And in adult stage, they only mate. So coming to the moments, larvae crawl and adults fly, and some are flightless, such as the bagworm moths. These moths, females, do not fly at all. They remain in the tree bark. Next. So they live in wide range of natural habitats. Moths can be found everywhere. So they are associated with egg laying and nectaring food. They whenever their egg laying plants are there, the larval food is there, and nectaring flowers are there, they will be distributed in these places. So when a habitat is destroyed, their nectaring plant, their egg laying plant, if these plants are being destroyed, moths will be also eventually, gradually, they will be diminished. So these are the habits and habitat. Next.
Can you see it? Process. Hello. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Hello, can you skip the slide?
This one. Okay.
Okay, so now coming to the difference between moths and butterflies. Uh, we can see these three different individuals here. These can be easily confused. The first one is a butterfly, which can be confused for a moth. Then second one is a moth that can be confused for a butterfly, and third one is a moth which will be confused for a some other insect. So in order to distinguish these different kinds of creatures or individuals, we need to know them, their taxonomy. So next slide. So let me tell you that moths and butterflies are similar in appearance because both have scaly wings and coiled proboscis. So the difference between butterflies and moths is not that great, or it is very important, and it is comparable also to different moth families. Different moth families will have different features. So now when we distinguish butterflies from their moths, the first one is that they have like diurnal habits. Butterflies have diurnal habits. They have clavate antenna. Their wing folding is dorsal. They thermoregulate differently. Butterflies bask, and moths thermoregulate by shivering their wings. And butterflies have do not have the frenulum. They have some other mechanism. We'll see. Also, there is a question mark here that the modern taxonomy has diminished most of these differences. So next slide.
Can you see the antennas? What is- what is- Are you okay?
Yes, we have
Okay.
seen.
So yes. Hello.
Yeah.
So these are the different antenna types taken in photograph. The first group we can see, these are the moth antennas. We can see different forms. A very hairy structure, filiform antennae. Then we have this what is called pectinate antennae, and the different kinds of antenna we can see in moths. But in butterfly case, we can see only clubbed antennae. These two pictures below, we can see the butterfly antennae. So next slide. Okay, this slide shows how the moths or butterfly rest. So the left side we can see the moths resting. They rest by their wings pressed to the surface, you can see. But there are always exceptions. Compared to the moths, we can see the butterflies, they lift wings by 90 degrees. There are also some butterflies, we have always exceptions in these cases, but in general, we can consider this as a difference. Next slide. Okay, so this slide speaks about shape and color roles in life history of moths or butterflies, their survival. So when we speak about butterflies, the butterfly wings can be incredibly colorful and patterned. And in moths, they can be relatively dull when they serve as protective mechanism through camouflage. Many moths show camouflage, but butterflies are much brighter than moths. They do not show camouflage in general. So these different types of hues in the butterfly or moth wings, the metallic hues or dull hues, are result of the scale, structure, and color. And if the scales are damaged in any case, these colors might fade, even in case of butterflies. And in moth or in moth wings, some may even have scent glands, and it aids as a source of option for potential mates. They help in courtship and mating. And some moths also have different kinds of pattern, like the red. This moth you can see two eye pattern is there. So they have uh, they have structures, or they have symbols resembling eyes. These marking of the wings are roughly circular in shape. It is also believed that they serve as escaping from predator. So there are also some moths that employ strategy known as flash coloring. A moth is sitting in the bark. When a predator approaches, they lift their wings so that underside of the wings will show some very bright patterns. Some very dull moths also have very bright wings under the forewing. The forewing might be very dull, but the hind wing is very bright. I will show some moths in the later slides which shows this kind of flashing coloring. So when this is shown, a bird or predator, when they approach, they get startled. So since moths fly at night, their wings might have dull color, which is evolved, which might be evolved, so making them very difficult to spot when they rest on the tree trunks or leaves. So we can see the last photo, it is resting on the leaf, but it is very difficult to distinguish that there is a moth sitting. And we have two different terms. The first is mimicry. It is ability to disguise and warn predators. The flesh coloration, what I have explained, is a form of mimicry, or sometimes it can be visual, acoustic, or olfactory. So visual is when they have different color patterns. Acoustic, I have told that some moths have some organs that have ears, or sometimes they have organs that produce sounds. So these mimicry, these type of mimicries are called acoustic mimicry. Then also some moths have olfactory mimicry, such that they smell as different kinds of moths or different kind of species we don't know about. Then the next term is camouflage. It is the ability to hide unnoticed by the other groups. We can see different moths like resting on the wall, which is very matching to the environment, such as the leaf, the moth sitting on the leaf. So this is a camouflage, and camouflage is always visual. So next slide. So here is an example of a mimicry known as Batesian mimicry, where a non-palatable species is avoided by predators at their site. Non-palatable means those are poisonous or distasteful in nature. So these two modes look very similar, but once they feed or try to feed on the non-palatable species, they also avoid the palatable species later on. So this helps in escaping predators, this strategy. Next. So next is Mullerian mimicry, which have similar coloration and similar toxic constituent. So one, like these are two distasteful moths. So once the moth is tasted by some predator, they will avoid the other also, and vice versa. So both have toxic content. In the first one, that is Batesian mimicry, we found that only one have toxic constituent, but the other do not. But here both have toxic constituent, so that predators will avoid these two species, vice versa. Next slide. Okay, so here we can see in the left side we have moths. So we have two wings here, both in butterfly and moths. They are joined to each other through different structures. Here, in case of moths, we have a tiny pin-like structure. We can see it is marked as frenulum. This joins the hind wing to the forewing, so that when they beat or when they fly, both the wings will coordinate together and help the moth in flying. But in case of butterflies, there are actually there all the butterflies have amplexiform coupling, that is they do not have any structures at all, but the forewing and hindwing get pressed into the scales and they coordinate, and this amplexiform coupling is a more advanced form and gives very light weight to the individual or the species itself. So these are the different types of wing coupling, and wing coupling is a term that is used to show how the forewings and hindwings are grouped together. Next slide. So now thermoregulation, that is temperature control. Moths or butterflies or many other all the insects are very like they are cold blooded. So in order to regulate the temperature, butterflies and moths need to be warm enough to fly, and their wings help them to regulate their body temperature. Before they can fly, their body needs to reach some temperature. So what do the butterflies do? Butterflies do basking, or they go to the sun and spread their wings to get the optimum temperature. Because of this only butterflies fly at the daylight, so which is like sunbathing. And most of the moths, majority of the moths are nocturnal flyers, so they do not expose their flight muscles to the sun before taking off, because in night there is no sunlight. Moths, in contrast to butterflies, what they do, they have the scales that are significantly more thick, which give them a furry appearance to keep the body temperature, and also the moth generate their own body heat by the process known as shivering, which involves vibration of their muscles. The first photo in the left side, we can see a hawk moth which is beating his, it was a video but it is not playing, which is beating his wings very fastly. It was sitting on the dining table. This photo was taken in Digboi College Boys Hostel. Before our dinner, this moth was sitting. When it was disturbed by people, then it started beating off their wings, like it vibrates, and then the moth flew away. That time I had taken the photo. So also the thick scales we can see in the moth, the hawk moth, which is showing vibration, have thick scales that also act as insulation. Once they take the shivering, which also the thick scales conserve the heat. So these are the different types of differences we found in moths and butterflies. While it is general true that butterflies fly during the day and moths fly during the night, there are enough exceptions to make this as a useless rule of thumb. As I have already told, scientific community now do not try to distinguish them. They consider them as Lepidoptera. Some people study butterflies, some people study moths, and it is very difficult to very precisely say that there are distinct differences between them. The false tiger moth, you have seen maybe. The false tiger moth flies during the daylight. It never flies at night. While some butterflies come to the light also. They do not come at daylight. So there are some exceptions always. Next slide. Is my voice breaking?
No, no, no. It's okay. But I think your slide is slow, I think. Anyway, you carry
Okay.
on. Yeah. Can you see it?
No, sir, it is in the same slide.
Seems like. But it is. Uh, Instructor, have you seen this slide? The new slide, role of moths in pollination, speak to the food web. But on the Moran, can you see it?
Yes, sir. Role of moths.
Okay. So Subhash is
Study slide.
probably, I don't know. Shall I go back again? I will find the previous slide. So, oh, the meeting probably is connected to some other connection. What is, are you there? Main problem is with a webinar with a network issues. Anyway, a nice right. Subhash, are you there? So, Anjali, are you going to do some more documenting for tomorrow? Anjali, Moran, did you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sir, I would love to do, but here in my area, I can see less number of moths actually. But
But you
I
have to
think
try. You have to try. You have to put a
yes, sir. I will
try to
surely I will try, sir.
switch off the other lights in your surroundings or outside. Then you put a white
Yes,
bed sheet or white cloth there. Then you put a light there to get ventilation. And you can extend it to outside if there is no rainfall. Then you can also extend it with extender with a say, extension wire. Connect it with a bulb, and probably you will get lots of moths.
yes, sir. I will definitely try it.
Tapopria is also there. So, Tapopria, are you going to do something tomorrow? You try it. Your voice is also not clear. So, if anyone want to just interact now, we can have a slight interaction session before Subhas is join. So, if you want to interact a little bit here, you can carry out. If any questions is there in your mind, probably Subhas is joined now. Subhas is just joined. Subhas is hello.
Hello.
Subhas, you're audible. Can you see the slide?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, clear, clear.
Okay. So coming to the role of moths. So I cannot see this slide. Just a moment.
So, shall I make you once again
Okay.
present?
I can see the slide now.
Okay.
So coming to the role of moths, most butterflies and moths are important plant pollinators. They help in pollination process. Then they fits into the food web as a rich protein source for other animals. They are a good source of food for their predators or those that feeds on them. A few butterfly and moth caterpillars are pests and do considerable amount of damage to our farms and gardens. So these caterpillars that do damage in our locality are the rice rollers, armyworm, cutworm. These worms destroy our vegetable and crops. It is important to remember that there are very few pests that are beneficial. There are very few pests than beneficial species. So the number of pests are very less. But when we do monoculture plantations, such as the tea gardens, the pest individuals increase, their abundance increases. That's why people always put a notion that these pests should be reduced by using some chemical measures. But the real thing is that when we do not do monoculture cultivations, all these pests that are in high abundance will be reduced gradually. So this is the thing we need to always remember. It is the rule of thumb of controlling pests. So then production of silk, sericulture is an important aspect of textile industry with deep links into the Assamese traditions, our indigenous culture. And also this adds as an important source of revenue. Then next, moth work as useful biological indicators. When we do some ecological study, ecological research, we know what are the groups of moths are very important to our plant community or habitat. So when we study them, we need to know, or we always get to know, the biological indicators. And while we talk about the moths that are economically beneficial, or those that are pests, they also require intensive biological research, and this enables and particular species that are important economically to be distinguished reliably from others where the application of taxonomy works. Next slide.
Studying Lepidoptera response.
Okay, let me tell you detailed studies of Lepidopterans, why they are needed. Detailed studies of Lepidopterans are very necessary, as they need to control when they are pests, and they need to be conserved, those that are declining their numbers. So okay, so let me add that when we know the biology of a species, then only we can know the measure how to control them. That's why studying Lepidoptera is very essential. So where do we see moths? Most moths are nocturnal. When we put light on our backyard or on our walls, these moths come to light. So by that way, we can see the moths, we can record them, take a photograph. And also sometimes when we drive at night, they flutter around our vehicle headlamps. Those ways also we can see. And day flying moths. Day flying moths can be observed like butterflies in the daylight. They can be, we can walk in the tracks, see them under the leaves, or sometimes flying. Next slide. So before talking about light trapping, let me tell that the study of butterflies or moths in their natural environment is always fascinating. When we see a close-up of a live butterfly or moth, it is an amazing experience for the newbies that can be never matched to watching specimens in the Natural History Museum or somewhere where it is preserved in some departments. So going out for a butterfly garden and watching moths or butterflies is a very interesting experience. So how do we look for moths? So first is light trapping, a long old method. We use some specific lights or daily use common lights to see moths. And more specifically, bulbs that emit UV light are used precisely for watching moths. We can put them in different sheets, or we can use different kinds of traps. Taxonomies use traps so that they can get the specimen, but we common people do not need to capture the individual. We just need to watch the moths that are coming to light and going back again. We just take photographs. So what we do, we put sheets and the light in different kinds of places like forest, our backyard. One more bulb is there, mercury vapor bulbs. These are they emit different kinds of mercury vapor in like a UV lamp, and they attract the moths. Then other methods also include sugar or bait trapping. When we use some kind of sugar material and put in the tree trunks, the moths will come to the tree trunk and we can hopefully see them. So these are the different ways we look for moths. Next slide. So setting a light trap, what do we need? At first, we need to set a location where we go and then put the cloth sheet. Here we can see this photo was taken in Dihing Patkai National Park for like 2016. So this white color sheet we have put in some trees or in one fencing, and one tube is being used. This tube is known as actinic tube. It emits ultraviolet rays. So during evening hours, when we talk about point number 2, that is time, time should be starting from dusk hours, say around 5:30, 6 o'clock during the summers. The moth trapping event should start. Then next is the surface, or next is the light source. The light source should be actinic bulb, or the bulb that emits UV rays. There are different types of products, UV products available, but there are some products that are matched to attract night insects, nocturnal insects. So these types of products we have to buy and then use them in the field. The fourth point is surface to rest. What type of surface do we need? We need some rough surface so that when a moth comes, it can cling into it. It can hold the surface. So a surface is needed. Then the fifth point is the most important. That is the patience. So we have to wait for longer periods of time sometimes. So patience is needed unless and until moth arrives. Gradually, some more will come. So we have to wait. Even we have to wait for the whole night. So next is setting a simple light trap. So we have seen one diagram where we put one sheet, then torchlight, LED, table light, or sometimes UV light. And the right side shows the bulb. This is a mercury vapor bulb. This is not easily found, but that actinic tube you can see beside the what is that mercury vapor bulb. This can be easily purchased online. It needs one ballistic chalk, and it can be put through 12 volt or can be put through AC current also. Then we have used different backup source, power backup source. We can see one battery and one converter or inverter, and used in remote places of forest. This photograph shows the way it is set up. One trap is there, a moth sheet is there, and one blue color UV light is there. So this is how a simple light trap is set up, or we can call it sheet trap, or what is called moth sheet. Next slide. So collecting data, this is one of the most important thing, because when we do a scientific survey or a biodiversity survey, data is the most important thing. So to collect different kinds of data, we need to arrange them or tabulate them in very easy way so that we can do different kinds of analysis. So this is one example I have given. We have put serial number, date, time, locality, then the location, which is also very important. Then sometimes in case of moths or other very complicated species, we cannot identify the individuals. In that case, what we do, we keep the photo EXIF title. See, DSC 1154. Any digital camera, any DSLR will record the photo ID in this way. So photo ID I have recorded as DSC, some numbers are there. And when I try to identify, I will fill up the moth ID here, DSC 01154. This will be replaced as this species, A species, B species when identification is complete. So like this way, we can curate our data. Then family, we have put species, genus, common name, type of light used. This way we collect data from different locations. Next slide. So how do we identify common moths? We all know moths are very complicated taxa to identify, but researchers and moth scientists have made different kind of contribution towards understanding or studying moths. The first is the Moths of India website. Moths of India website can be logged in and checked. There are always different kinds of contribution, different species contribution into their database. So that by family wise, you can see www.mothsofindia.org. Then one book is also there, Birdwing Field Guide to Indian Moths by Dr. V. Subbalakshmi. This is a very good book for moths of entire India. More than 700 species are enumerated in this book. Those are very interested in moths, those go to the forest and survey for moths can always buy this book so that their identification is right done in the field itself. So Field Guide to Indian Moths. This book is worth buying. Next slide. There are also some books that are based on different localities. That is Butterflies and Moths of Pakke Tiger Reserve. Two versions are there. They are basically for butterflies, but many moths are also there. Then one hawk moths of Dihing Patkai region, which speaks about the hawk moth family in the Dihing Patkai, which is the national park and in and around areas. This is written by myself. So this enumerates around 47 to 50 species, and this helps in identifying local moths. Next slide. So some moths that can be seen day flying are these species. When you go for a survey, you sometimes might identify them as butterflies, but actually they are moths. The extreme right side moth, you can see this moth flies during the dusk hours or sometimes during the daylight also. This can be confused for a carpenter bee or some kind of hymenoptera. So these are actually moths. Next slide. So let's see some families of different moths. I will not explain much, but just see so that sometimes you can, if you see a moth, then you can classify them uh, according to the family. So first is butterfly moths, the moths that look like butterfly. They belong to the Calidulidae family. Next slide. Then forester or barnet moths, they are classified as Gygnidae. These moths you can see when you go for a trek, these moths always rest in the leaves. Next slide. And when we talk about the Gygnidae family, there are different larvae. The first larva is this one. What is that? Sir, what species was that? I forgot the name.
Red slug.
Red slug caterpillar. Yes, yes. The second is the Duris jewel. See the caterpillars; they are very interesting. The first one is a pest of tea garden, tea plants. The second is a pest of piper species, jaluk gos. Jaluk pator pest hoy. Next slide. Then we come to the cup moths or slug moths. So these are very small moths, moderately small moths, which can be found everywhere, and their caterpillars are interesting. Next slide. So these are the Limacodidae or slug caterpillars, slug moth caterpillars, which are also called Samselequa in Assamese, stinging nettle. So the last one, the right side below is the slug caterpillar. Then the first one is Parasa, Setora. These are the different types of genus we can classify in. So these are all slug moths, and their caterpillars are known as nettle caterpillars. Next is the grass moths. These are very common moths which are which flies in the ground itself, like some height, like 2 feet. These moths always fly in the grass. And these moths are very important economically because they are pests. They are stem borers, they are skeletonizers, and they are pests of grains. And rice reflorer belong to this family. Next slide. Then tropical leaf moth. These are very interesting taxa or species. You can see the coloration. They sometimes look like tropical leaves that are dried, and sometimes looks like honeybee or some hymenoptera. The first ones looks like hymenoptera. Next. Then hook tip moths. You can see the hook tipped. They have some hook like patterns at the end of the wings, apical region of the wings. You can see. Next slide. Now see the caterpillars. They look like some kind of dinosaur or something. Next slide. And leopard moths. Leopard moths are medium-sized moths, and their shapes are very interesting. And these family is named under different gods and goddesses of Hindu mythology, like Ganesha, Trabala Krishna, Radhika, like that. Next slide.
The caterpillars, can you see it?
I can't see the slide.
So it
Okay,
is
these are the leopard moth caterpillars. It can grow as big as our hand or very small as the eggs. You can see. Next slide. So these are the giant silk moths or wild silk moths. So these are economically important also, some of the species of this family. Next slide. Like Anthera, Triti, they produce silk for us. Then hawk moths. Next. These are the hawk moth caterpillar. They mimic like some snake or very venomous structures. When you disturb them, they act like snakes. They mimic like snakes. Next slide. These are uranid moths or tropical swallowtail moths. Next slide. The goat moths. So these are the moths that bore into their larvae bore into the bark or the wood on the stem. So like the moth that feeds on the Equularia malacensis that used to produce perfume. It comes from this family. That Geuzera genus comes from this Cosidae family. Next slide. The interesting or beautiful geometry day. Next slide. Then different tiger moths, wasp moths. These mimics different kind of taxa. The wasp moths look like wasps, but actually they are moths. The tiger moth caterpillars look like this. Next. So passenger moths, aganid moths. Next. Lamentridae moths look like this. Then footman moths look like this. These are tussock moth caterpillars. Very commonly we can see them in different trees. Then owlet moth, triangle owlet moths, then euclid moths. Next slide. Okay, fruit perching moth. These moths feed on our fruits like guava, mango. These moths at night come to the tree and then try to pierce it very hard and sturdy proboscis into the mango or guava and feed their nectar, or we can say fruit juice. So this moth, the last one, last right, shows flesh coloration, what I was speaking before. When it is closed, it looks like a very dull individual. But when a predator approaches nearby, when it tries to fly, it shows a flesh coloration and the predator or the bird might startle. Next slide. And these are very small moths, micro moths. You can just next slide. These are primitive moths. Gallery say these are tripod moths. Next. Plume moths, these are micro moths, very small individuals. Next. And these are grain moths. These moths can be seen in our paddy, or when we store our paddy or rice, we can see these species or taxa of grain moths. We call futi in Assamese. No, this is the Citotroga species. So these are tortoised moths, very small in individuals. Next. Then swift or ghost moth. These are very primitive moths. They are very active at night, and in light traps, they will come very usually. Next. That's all about different moths. And now Rajiv sir will speak about the citizen science, how citizens can act as contributors to wildlife or biodiversity.
Well, so a nice session has been carried out by Subhashish related to introduction to moths, and he has showed the different families of moths. So now what we have to do, that I'm going to deliver out here. So it is a kind of a general public participation in conservation and research. So they are now as known as citizen science scientists. So this is how a moth trap can be installed in your backside of your house, or in your front of your house, or in your gate, your wall, where the moths they do travel, and when they see the light, they get attracted there, and they come and sit on that, and then you take the photographs. You know the moths are available in that particular area. So generally, it's citizen science, that a form of public participation in science, so that we have also. So volunteers can be engaged. So tomorrow we are holding like 50, 20 students at Timber College. We will be doing moth trapping there. So we have a natural forest out there inside Timber College. So we will be holding a particular locations with some lights, and we'll put some white sheets, and then we'll try to take photographs. So this is how one can do it. So it can be inside your own, outside your own uh, campus, or it could be some other area where it is suitable for you. So we can go to the next slide. Then we have to like collect so many of data with geography. So one important thing is that we should always try to switch on our GPS. It is there in the mobile phone, because when we uh, put the GPS on, then the exact location of the picture is known. And when we upload these things in the uh, portal that we have discussed, there itself it will automatically take your GPS data on that portal, along with the photographs, along with the time, along with the date. So this is how one can know which species is found where and how many times we have encountered. So that's very, very important. So what we have to do, we will switch on the GPS data, and then we try to take photographs so that we know, because otherwise it will be manually also you can put the GPS data. It is not hard and fast rule that you have to put the GPS data. You cannot also, you can avoid that one, but it's good that you put it so that you know which is found where, and ultimately mapping can be known to you and all across the globe. And we should also try to involve participants who are interested, take them with you, you make your team, and you do a discussion, right? Like in one house, there one group, and another friend is there. So you gather your 5, 6 friends in your own house. Then you take photographs jointly. Then the next day you go to your somebody's friend's house. This is how you do it. Different locations you'll have your data, and it will be at the end the result will be very interesting. So here with simply unknown thing we can just upload it. Then you can be a beginners from tomorrow itself, or maybe tonight after 12 p.m. 12 a.m. in the morning. Okay. And then it would be a very good contributor that we go a little bit of expertise. That's what Subhasis have done during this BSc level. So during this BSc level, in the first year itself, we started depending on the butterflies and also the moths. But I have pressurized him to go and work on the moth, because there are very little people who do work on the moths. And slowly during his second semester, third semester, he have gathered the knowledge on moth. Ultimately, in the third semester, he was well equipped to deliver lecture on moth, because he have taken photographs, he have studied it, he have contacts with some other persons abroad also to identify it. Then he has also consulted some old books written by British India, as we all know. So there he have tried to put the taxonomy course. So ultimately, he have gathered the knowledge while he was just a college student at third semester. So like him also, one can also start out. Ultimately, like today, he is an expert. So this is over. We can see a few citizen science statistics says that in part, it is not that the citizen science is only related with the moths. It is related with the butterflies, related with other dragonflies, or could be mammals, could be plant, anything. So it is birds here. So over 7.5 million observations are reported each month. So there are so many people who are engaged in the birding. So people used to upload these things, information in the database, and then the percentage of the birding is much more than any other group of people. So we need to explore the insects or whatever other lesser known texts are. So while if anyone is taking pictures of any moth, among that moth, there could be many moth you discovered. So you may be a good author of a particular species that nobody has found. So you are the first person to have found. So you could be a very good author also in this particular regard. So it's very interesting. So when we do this type of modeling or some other kind of citizen science work, so new things could be also discovered, and ultimately you could be the author of a particular species. So National Moth Week in India, there was around only for 7 days. That was during the COVID period that we have started. So we got 7,737 observation in the entire study. These are the observations that has been done. So every day we try to photograph the same species we get in. We upload the same species again and again, but different individual. The same species again, but different individual. And this is how we can know the abundance. So it is called actually, in birding, we can say it's called what backyard bird count also. Because like 1,077 checklists have been prepared across the globe by 130 countries. So it counted in 2017. So this is how the data is helping in the citizen science. We know the data, how many species are left, how many species are more, how many species are very rare, and we need to protect which one. So ultimately, globally, we know that these species are very common occupying, but these species are very rare. And that way, that particular region will be pressurized to the government to protect that particular species out there. Their habitat can be protected. So this is how the species can survive with our own data. So this data is going to help in the conservation of the remaining flora and fauna. So there's another like work on this particular major site, just much more work than ecology and climate, astronomy, feasibility. So these are the certain studies that have been done. So I just talked that one. So so here you can create a kind of a project right now today also. You can create a project in the iNaturalist or in the India Biodiversity portal system. And then in that project, you can just select an area, your district area. So there you can involve, share that particular link to your friends in that particular district. So now you may be able to gather what are species are found in that particular district. So I have done it through this iNaturalist. So the entire Tinsukia district of Assam, I have mapped it. So whoever uploads those things found in Tinsukia will be automatically the Tinsukia district species will be known. So this is the total district species. So this is how we know what other species are found in particular area. So this is a project. So that project can be created in that particular web portal. So open. You can see then species. You can see the map also. Then they make observation or upload to the iNaturalist that I've already said. Then this is how you know, and there are also certain experts who will be also comment on your observation, whether you have named it correctly or not. So there are two persons, unknown persons. They will come. They will see your web picture on the web portal. They will see whether you have put the place correctly or not. And ultimately, after two support from this particular group, then your species name will be uploaded as lesser mulberry slough. So it is called research gate. So once you upload it, you will know the things, and slowly we can also help you also later on. So this total observations by probably this is from the Subasis, 2,399 species, individuals recorded with 664 species. So these are observations. So observer is only one. So these 664 species So 64% have identified, also help him to identify the species name of the particular moths. So this is how one can also know. So the biodiversity, the open biodiversity data pathway. So you can see our data, you can see Subhash's data, you can see somebody's data also there. So you know, suppose you're traveling to certain other place for a documentation of moths or documentation of any species. So before you go to that particular area, the unknown area, so in your own home, you can open up, you can see and search in this database what are the species are found in that particular area and what season has come, in which date, which month. So then you can plan accordingly. Okay, let's go in the month of August, not in the July, because August there are lots of abundance. So they will know the time. So you want to track that particular species, that particular location. So before you start up, you can also plan your journey, whether you want to go in month of July or August by seeing this particular data, which are been uploaded. So ultimately your traveling to that particular area for that particular species will be worldwide. So this generally researchers they use this type of data. They also give some take permission from you all to put it in their research also. So so this is how you can do the conservations. So could be inventory, new species could be identified. You can also work on the life history of it and also help in the ecological part as well. Also, it also aware the local people about that particular part. So people get involved in the inventory, the taxonomy, life history, ecological study, conservation of and indicators, into species also. So we just skip one. So why conservations are more essential than you know. Structurally, species diversity, vegetation system helps in it. Restrict the vegetation community that support with epidemics. Characteristics trees to which epidemic community is monophagous and urban habitat dependent patches. So we know the entire thing. So if that particular species are available, we know that okay, that this particular habitat is suitable, that particular temperature is suitable. Then also we know that the host plant is also available. If the abundance is less in comparison with other area, then we know that host plant may be in scarce condition. So if it is have more species available in that particular location, then we know that the habitat is also very good. But again, if the population of that particular species is very less in comparison to the other area, then we know that something is disturbed in a particular location. Then we can look up what could be the causes of the disturbances, and then we can go out for conservation. So these are the certain programs that you have also have done it in our college campus, a kind of workshop on the mods, and so many people, so many students from different colleges have joined here. It was earlier, of course, before the COVID situations, and also after post-COVID, also we did some kind of workshop also. So these are the posters that have been prepared by Subhashis Arndara itself, and we've written the book and also some posters in also in Assamese local language also. So this all we want to conclude our speech about this. So now we will discuss among the participants. So I'm very much thankful that the participants are still here with us from right from 7:30 to 9:20. So let's have an interaction sessions or and I will also like to show you how to upload the photographs. I think that will be. I think I should get it out with that part. Okay, so let me open up the my iNaturalist account. I have some pictures kept ready. So let me show you how to upload things in the iNaturalist. So what you have to do, you have to take the photographs, and then if it is GPS located, you can use it, or else if you find it difficult to use it on the GPS, then you can still try to find the locations of the area, and also there you can upload the things uh, accurately. So I better, before we go for any kind of discussion, let's go for a small demo how to upload the photographs. Okay, so I'll just share it my screen. I think you can see the desktop out here.
Yes.
So here are some insects that these pictures I have already uploaded there, but it's kind of what demonstration only. I will be uploading. So I'll switch on the Google. So I'll type my iNaturalist account. I'm putting the iNaturalist account. So my iNaturalist account is already there. Was on earlier. So you can just see a look of my observations of different species and the abundance. So here you can see that I have observation of 7,954 individuals with 1,249 species. And I have taken automatically 656% have helped me to identify certain species that I do not know, or maybe I may have difficulty uploading it, so that I do not actually have. I know the species, but I have not written it. I just simply upload it without any editing. So this my record. So I'll just go and I'll just show you the upload. So here you can see the upload portion. Okay. Upload here. So when we put the upload, so automatically another page will come out. So here drag or drop some photos or sound. So you can just click here, choose file. So after choosing the file, automatically it will open some file. Okay. So I'll go to the desktop. Then I will try to go and find the insects. These folders are there. Then so many insects are there. So some are the honeybee, some are moth. So these are the things of one are the butterflies. This is another insect. So let's upload this one. So it is not a moth. It is another insect. Uh, so can anyone say what would be the name of a particular insect? It is lacewing. Okay. So here you see the date was taken on 14th January 2023, and the time was that at 12:47 a.m. That means what? It was after midnight. Okay. So here you see the species name. It's blank. So I'll put here. So here you just leave your cursor. So automatically a metadata will come and it will take you to the nearest position, nearest species name. So here you can just put here, it is a list week. So you click it here, then the name is there. Now the location area is not known. Okay, so GPS is not been taken while I have taken the photograph. Even though I have said to you all that you take the GPS photograph, but myself I have not taken the GPS uh, located photographs during that period. So still I know the location because the location is there in the Digbo Police. So I'll put the location out here. Automatically, the entire the Google Earth will come out. So there you see the map, you see the satellite, and there is another button called search for a location. So you type here Deep Boy, suppose you know the place Deep Boy, right? Because this name is already there in this particular. So I click. So once I click here, automatically the entire position it gives us to that particular location called the default points as of. So I want to increase the location. So I'll go nearer. Okay, so these are the buildings. So this photograph is taken in the corridors of the building. So I'll keep it here. So once I put here, so I just update my observation. So once I update my observation, now it is been uploaded. So now I go to the another part called submit one. So since I have given only one, uh, I've selected only one photographs, then I can submit, or I can take more pictures uploading of it. So this is how I put it here. Now saving the observation. Okay. So once I save it, so there is another observation. So that another observation will be again highlighted in the observation matrix. So here diamond branded lace wing is being uploaded. I can see here. So the date has been given, the GPS location has been given here. Okay. And then this is the one part. So how to create a project? So out here, I'm just showing here the community. You can see the community part out here. So there you drag it, you see the third national mod week, that was the earlier one. Then you see the national mod week, this one. Okay. So here we have also made this thing, the big butterfly month. So this big butterfly month is another event going to be happening from 1st of September to 30th of September of this year, every year. So I go to this community part. So there I click here to the Tinchkia Moth. So here you can see this national moth week. My page is already been created. So this is how its location. So here you can see the district map. So you can see the Sapakwa, the Sadia, the other north side. Then you can see the Jagun side, the last part of Assam. Then you can see the Margarita site. Dimpo is somewhere here. Then you go to the other part, like near to this Chapua or Manitola area. So this is the part. So this entire district it covers this particular location. So whatever person from this Tinchika district they upload the mods during this period. So everything will be in the Tinchika district project, and ultimately on the end we know how many mods are found in the Tinchika district alone during that particular period of time. So that time has been set already from 22nd to 30th of this July, and this is how we can know. So this is how one can create a project. So anyone who is actually interested can also open a project on its own. So this is how we can go further. So here you go to the community, there you go, and then you can see people here. You can see a portion called project. So there in the project, you can open it, and then in the project, it would be some other parts that you want to create. So you have to write a starter project, and that project could be somewhere in the Maharashtra, one or two district. That project could be somewhere in the Tamil Nadu, one or two district. So one project could be there in Telangana. So where one can create that project, and ultimately you can involve your friends of that particular district. You upload the photographs. Then totally when we find we'll be able to know the exact position of moths found in India, because it is a nationwide national moth week. So let's make it a successful program from tomorrow onwards. So this is how actually uh, we will be engaging from tomorrow. So now the session is open for discussion. Thank you. Jayadal, maybe sir, do you want to correct? Joel, sir, can you hear us? Are you there?
Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, you're. Uh, I can also see an unknown person. We do look for one. Can you introduce yourself and you can also interact with us?
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir. I am audible.
yes.
Sir, myself Mridul Burman, and I am from West Bengal.
Okay.
And my actually this is my research. Actually, this is not my field botany, but I am also a student of geography. This is my interest in this project. I informed a group in our West Bengal, and I am also a mountaineer. Also, that's why I interest in this project. So that's it, sir.
So probably you will be also participating from tomorrow onwards.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. So you're
Thank
from
you, sir.
Calcutta or which
Sir, my actually I'm a former student of University of Calcutta, and my hometown in Coach Bihar, which is near about Assam.
anyway, nice that you were part of this webinar.
Thank you, sir.
So this person name is Niranjan. Can you just introduce yourself? Niranjan.
But, sir, sorry for the interruption. I am Dr. Jayadin Malik,
Yes, sir.
and I'm from Department of Geology, Sadia College. So, really, it was a very nice presentation. And although my field I am from fisheries, but actually I'm interested as daily we come and we see them. So, wanted to explore this and teach the students also about this thing. So, I think this will be quite helpful for us.
So nice hearing.
And due to this time, yeah, thank you.
I can see Rohit Day. I don't know where you're from. Please, yourself.
Mm, Yes, sir.
Just introduce yourself. You're from which place? What you want to do?
So, sir, my name is Rohit De. Actually, I'm from Margeta, and my
What?
major subject is mathematics,
Okay.
and minor also physics.
So what you're doing there in Margarita?
Yeah.
What you're doing in Margarita? You're a student or you're a teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Rohit, are you a student or a teacher?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a student.
So you're studying in Margarita College?
No, sir. I'm choose Digbo College.
Or you're from our college itself? Okay. So you're in the, from mathematics department.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can also get involved from tomorrow onwards to take the photographs of the moths. I think you've learned something about it. Okay. And I could see a name, number 70503. I don't know, but the mobile number is there. Will be some other number. Can you just introduce yourself and right there?
Hello, sir. It's me. I'm Shumita Thausen. Hello, can you
Yes,
hear me, sir?
yes, yes.
I'm Shumita Thausen, assistant professor of Sadia College.
Okay.
The topic was very interesting. Since you have already told about the moth, can we take a number or identify about the butterfly also in iNaturalist?
Yes, yes. You can upload anything. It could be any
Uh,
plant or any kind of animals you can upload. But prefer not to put any human photographs or any pet dogs or cows or buffaloes or goat. So other than that, anything wild you can upload. Even small ants, even you can see small scaled insects. Could be some
okay.
diseases
That
of the
means
plant you can upload.
okay, okay. That means we can collect the pictures and give in the any kind of picture that it would maybe include like plants and animals, which will be include like insects.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, since I'm also a special paper is entomology, I'm really interested, but uh, from the next month, I was thinking to collect the number of insects also.
Okay.
So if problem arises, I will surely contact sir. May I?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Then
Thank you, sir, for giving the webinar so that we can know about the moth also. Since we have already know about the butterfly, since it is an environment indicator, but now we can also know about the moth also.
so there's another person called your name is Niranjan. So can you just introduce yourself? Okay. Loanjati, Varan, anything you want to discuss?
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you for this wonderful session. It was really very good to know about the mods from Subhasichandra Dada and you, sir, and it really boosted interest in mods, and I would definitely try to do some experiments or do some activities from tomorrow, like mod trapping. And sir, one thing I want to know is that is any other than the so what light was used during trapping?
Pardon? What? Like,
The light.
that's already been said by Subhasis that it's called the UV light or mercury light. So these are available.
Or any
But
can we use any normal light for the
yes,
trapping?
yes, yes. If you do not have that those light, you can still use a normal light, and it will also useful. It will also useful because we have already done it earlier also in general bulb. You can use a
Yes.
CFL also. You can use tube light, extended
Oh,
one, or you can just go to your veranda if there is some light. You don't need to put extra light. So there also you can like photographs. Uh, itself.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And one more interesting, important thing is that whatever moths you get, you take the photographs. But at the same time, you may also get lots of beetles, lots of other insects also. You try to take photographs of those species also at the same time. And every time you upload, and it should be a different individual, but not the same individual. But if you find the same individual flying from one location to another location, to avoid taking the same picture. But if you see another similar individual just next to it, take that photographs so that we know the total abundance. So ultimately, when you see the checklist, so the interesting thing that the iNaturalist, the lists are available. So I'll just share you the list here once again. If I this portion. So there we can go and see the list. So the list is there. So I have to scroll there, and then I the list. So once I click onto the list, so the entire dynamic list will be there. So click it there, and then you will see the list on the left hand side. There you can also see the arthropods. You can see the animal kingdom. You can see here on the left hand side. You can see the arthropoda. Then you can see the Sedicerata. Then you see the arachnids group. Then again you can see the crustaceans or hexapods. Hexapods are insects, no? And then you see the insects. You can see the myriapods. You can see the chordates. You can see the some fishes, so the amphibians is there, birds, mammals, reptiles. So entire list is there. So here we can go this hexapoda or the insect. You can see 6,811 insects has been uploaded over here. So here among it, winged or winged insect. So you can see cockroaches one group, termites one group, then beetles, earwigs, flies, bugs, ants, bees, wasps, these butterflies and moths, mantis. So all those village, whatever species we get there, the entire list is there. So it will also help you to get a checklist of your own locate. It could be a checklist of Satya College. It could be a checklist of Deepak College. It could be a checklist of your own area or on your own institution where you are. So that checklist can be also gathered from this type of part. So when you go here, you see the butterflies and moth again. The family wise, the butterflies and the moth has been categorized. So you have to do nothing. Only you upload it, you get a metadata, somebody is going to, then automatically it will be placed in that particular family by those experts. So our idea is that to put the things on, just upload it, and the entire family wise will be made it easy for you by some expert or by the computer itself. So you can see some picture being for the widow being mods. Here we can see some images. Then you go to the pictures. So here we can go and see the pictures. So this is how we can go and find it. So these are the pictures that will be up the screen. Here this species. So it belongs to the Clenbuia genus, subfamily Cichlidae of the and the higher family, super family. So there is things that has been already been made. So just 2 months ago, I have uploaded here. So so this is how one can uh, get it. So it's very interesting one. The unknown species is in a couple of months or maybe in a day or within 24 hours, within 1 minute or so. If somebody is online, he or she will help you to identify those. But truly speaking, I'm not a mod expert. So I think Subhasis Arda is there. So he will help you out to identify the mods much quicker than myself. So probably you can also contact Subhasis Andhara with WhatsApp group. So I think Subhasis, just can you type your phone number out there so that they can also disturb you to identify certain mods directly.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
There's one question to Sabasi, sir. Hello, sir.
Subhasis, are you there? Subhasis, are you there?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Sir, there's one question. Since I've been observing a caterpillar, it might be moth caterpillar. It feeds on the pinwheel flower leaf. I've been observing the caterpillar. It become large, but after that, I was not able to see the adult moth. So, is there any exact time to come out from the chrysalis, or it comes out at the night only for the
Uh,
caterpillar to come out from the
it is not like that. It can come at any time.
uh, at any time, sir?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Actually,
yes.
I was observing the caterpillar. It's on the pinwheel. Okay, sir. So that means there is no any exact time to come out.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So probably I think we can wind up,
Yes.
and we are fortunate to have few interested persons till now. Wish you all the best from tomorrow. To take the photograph, start the time. Maybe you can start at 5:30 itself. Today also I observed it at 5:30. Certain moths were found active on the walls itself. They are flying to that particular locations because the wall is white in color. Probably they get attracted to it without any extra arrangement. You can just go and pick the moths in the particular locations. You can see how many numbers come and how many individuals are there. So it will be a very interesting part. And once you take a photograph, you enlarge it in your own mobile screen. You see the beautiful wing venations. You can go for the macro mode if your mobile is having that support. Then you, from the mobile itself, instantly you can also upload those things. So first you have to create an ID with iMatches, and then you start uploading those things one by one in that particular portion. So probably if you can all for physically say it will go for that particular sections, automatically it will be the entire list of the physical. So wish you all the best, and I'm happy that successfully we have able to conduct this program. And this program has also been recorded, so we'll be also uploading it to YouTube so that it can be also easily shared for later references. Okay, so thank you very much, Subhasis, for your time. Today you had a
Thank you, sir.
today had a field trip also, but still you could have managed the time and very well time. And also thank you to everyone. So there's another person with us, Rishikesh Nath. So Rishikesh, please
Yes, yes, sir.
introduce yourself.
Sir, my name is Rishikesh Nath. I am from Digboy College, MSc 4th sem. Sir, sir, it is a very nice presentation, sir. So actually, my network connection is very bad.
And Rishikesh Nath has done work on research work on ants, different ants
Yes, sir.
on people college campus. So he's from the entomology background. So we have 6 students who have just completed their fourth semester MSc course under my the entomology. Of course, BOD Debra was also one of the yes. So they have done a wonderful project on the entomological section. Some work on the edible insects, some work on the moth, some work on the on the mosquitoes. Rishikesh work on the ants of the purple campus. So very interesting. One can also work on. So Niranjan is there still? I unknown. Niranjan, is it the Niranjan Naik or some other Niranjan? Please. Maybe network issues. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we'll wind up. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you,
Sir.
sir.
All the best.